You ever seen someone's whole world blocked by four shiny wheels? That was me, staring at a silver Porsche 911 parked across my only gate, my ranch cut off like I was some prisoner in my own home. And the driver wasn't some lost stranger. It was Amara Wallace, the iron-fisted president of our HOA. She thought her car was untouchable, her power unquestionable. But she had no idea what kind of man she was dealing with. And by the time I was done, her Porsche wasn't a symbol of arrogance anymore, it was a pile of scrap metal under tank treads. It started like a bad joke. One Sunday morning I walked out with a cup of coffee ready to enjoy the quiet. Instead, there it was gleaming under the Texas sun, a Porsche 911 parked clean across my ranch gate. At first I thought maybe a neighbor's guest, maybe a delivery truck turned around wrong. But no, the moment I saw Amara herself strut up in her heels, lipstick shining, pearls catching the light, I knew it wasn't a mistake. It was a message. Amara looked at me, smirked like she'd just won a court case, and said, "Jaden, this is HOA-regulated curb space. Perfectly legal." My jaw clenched so tight it hurt. That gate wasn't just an entrance, it was my lifeline deliveries, family emergencies. She knew it. I knew it. But Amara never cared about truth, only control. That first day, I told myself it would move, that she'd get bored and leave. Except she didn't. The next morning, there it was again. Same angle, same arrogance. By the end of the week, the sight of that Porsche became my morning ritual, like some cruel alarm clock. Delivery trucks turned away. My buddies stopped visiting. Even the mailman muttered, "Rich people problems," as he handed me letters at the road. I called the cops twice. Both times they glanced at HOA paperwork. Amara waved in their faces and shrugged. Civil matter, not our problem. At the next HOA meeting, I brought proof. Survey maps, deeds, easement records in black ink. I laid them out like evidence in a courtroom. "This proves you're trespassing," I said. For a second I thought it worked. Neighbors shifted uncomfortably. One man even whispered, "He's right." But then Amara rose, blazer crisp, smile sharp, and declared, "He's misinterpreting old documents. As president, I can designate parking as I see fit." The board nodded like puppets on strings. "If you don't like it, Jaden," she purred, "take it to civil court." The gavel came down. Just like that, my evidence was treated like trash. Day after day, her Porsche squatted across my gate, daring me. One Saturday, I had lumber scheduled for a barn repair. The truck driver shook his head. "Can't unload here." I spent the entire day hauling wood 2 miles by pickup, my back screaming sweat soaking my shirt. That night I knocked on Amara's door, anger boiling over. She answered in a silk robe, wine glass in hand, smile dripping venom. Enjoying the new view, she asked, nodding toward my blocked gate. "Move it," I snapped. She sipped slow, savoring the power. "Prove it," she whispered, then shut the door in my face. I tried one more time. I wrote a polite note, slipped it under her wiper. "Please do not block my entrance. This is private property." That evening I found it taped to my mailbox with her handwriting scrawled across it. "Nice try. HOA rules supersede your opinion." Opinion. She called my deed an opinion. I called the cops again, begged them to understand. Officer Daniels shrugged. "Take it up with the HOA," he said. "We can't get involved unless there's a disturbance." And let me tell you, I was disturbed. My patience snapped for the first time the night my sister and her kids came for dinner. Steaks ready, table set, music playing, and they couldn't get in. The Porsche sat there, engine off, headlights dark like a sentinel. My sister called frustrated, "We can't get through. Should we just go home?" My stomach dropped. I looked at that set table, at the food getting cold, and I realized I was losing more than time. I was losing family moments, losing my peace, losing myself. That night I sat on my porch, staring at the Porsche glinting in moonlight. I asked myself a question I hated. Am I the problem? Should I just sell this place and walk away? For a moment I considered it. The weight of HOA politics, the smirks, the wasted hours, it crushed me. But then I remembered who I was before I was just a rancher cornered by a bully. I was a soldier. I knew the power of steel, of tanks, of machines that didn't ask for permission. And I remembered one thing: every fortress has a weakness. That's when the idea struck me. What if I just rolled a tank over her Porsche? At first I laughed at the insanity, but the longer I sat there, the less it felt like a joke. That Porsche wasn't just a car, it was her throne, her crown, her shield. Destroy it, and you destroy the illusion. I picked up my phone, scrolled old contacts, found the name Ethan Price, my old unit buddy now running a military museum. I hit dial. Jaden Cross. Ethan barked, then laughed. Haven't heard that name in a decade. What's up? I told him everything: Amara, the Porsche, the HOA. I finally said the words out loud. I want to crush her Porsche with a tank. Silence. Then Ethan burst out laughing. You're serious, aren't you? Dead serious. A week later the plan was set. Ethan had an Abrams ready for a parade demo and offered a detour. Nothing official, nothing on paper, just two old soldiers settling a score. The morning it arrived, I heard it before I saw it, the deep rumble shaking the ground, filling my chest like a heartbeat. The neighbors spilled onto porches, cameras ready. Mrs. Alvarez waved like it was a parade. Kids screamed with excitement. And then it appeared crawling down the street, 60 tons of American steel. Ethan grinned from the hatch like a man born for mischief. The tank looked out of place among mailboxes and manicured hedges, but to me it looked perfect. Amara stood across the street, clipboard in hand, pearls gleaming. For once she didn't smile. This is harassment, she shouted for the cameras. You can't bring a tank into a neighborhood. I stayed calm, almost too calm. It's on my property for a historical demo, I said. Paperwork's in order. She called me a liar, tried to rally support, but the neighbors avoided her eyes. The balance had shifted. We positioned the Abrams facing her Porsche, the same Porsche sitting smug across my gate. Ethan looked at me, a silent question. Do we? I looked at Amara. She smirked, shouted, You wouldn't dare, Jaden. This is all theater. Her voice dripped arrogance even as doubt flickered in her eyes. I stepped forward, boots crunching gravel. Move it, Amara. Last chance. She laughed, rolled her eyes. You're bluffing. I gave Ethan the nod. The tank growled forward, each clank of treads a drumbeat. The crowd gasped. Phones zoomed in. Amara climbed into her Porsche, slammed the door, turned the engine on, headlights flashing. But she didn't move. She sat there, daring me. I raised my hand, pointed at her car. Forward! The Abrams roared. The shadow swallowed her Porsche whole. At the last possible second, she panicked. Tires squealed, bumper scraped, and she swerved into her driveway. The Abrams stopped inches from where the Porsche had been. The neighborhood erupted cheers, laughter, disbelief. Amara sat in her car, pale and shaking, pearls clutched tight. I said it loud enough for the cameras. You were warned. And I walked away. But bullies never quit. 2 days later, Porsche was back across my gate. This time she stayed inside, sunglasses on, phone to her ear, pretending I didn't exist. I sipped my coffee, set the mug down, and nodded to Ethan. No countdown, no warnings. The Abrams rolled forward, shadow swallowing that car again. Amara revved her engine horn, blaring, but she didn't budge. Then metal screamed. The tank pressed into the Porsche's bumper, and with one groan the German machine folded like paper. Glass shattered, alarms wailed, steel crumpled under 60 tons of justice. Amara screamed, stumbling out, heels clattering as she ran. The crowd roared. Some clapped, some filmed, some just laughed with relief. When the Abrams finally pulled off, the Porsche was unrecognizable, a flattened carcass of twisted steel and shattered glass. I looked at it, hands on my hips, and said dryly, Guess it wasn't HOA-approved parking after all. Police arrived, stunned by the sight of a tank parked in a cul-de-sac and a luxury car reduced to junk. Amara wailed, demanded my arrest. But evidence was everywhere. Deeds, easements, live streams, dozens of neighbors confirming weeks of harassment. Officer Daniels, the same man who once shrugged, finally said, Ma'am, your vehicle was illegally blocking private access. The evidence is clear. You ignored his warnings. That's on you. In that moment, Amara's empire crumbled. Her board members looked away silent. Her allies melted into the crowd. Mrs. Alvarez's voice cut sharp. "You brought this on yourself, Amara." And for once, nobody defended her. Within days, the HOA called an emergency vote. Amara was out. Her Porsche gone, her power gone, her house eventually up for sale. And me, I had my gate back. No victory party, no celebration. Just peace. And here's the truth. I learned power built on fear is fragile. The moment you stand up, it shatters.